We're making Meat-a-Bawlz, because I gotta make Meat-a-Bawlz. I'm making sauce tomorrow. And when you make sauce, meatballs take so long. You make the meatballs first, then you make the sauce, then you throw the meatballs in the sauce. So, we're making Meat-a-Bawlz. I'm gonna throw you down, show you what I'm doing, tell you what I'm doing while I go along. Here's the shit you need. You need about 2.5 to 3 pounds of meatball mix. Meatball mix is, you'll get it at the supermarket. It's a 3-part mixture of beef, pork, and veal. Do not get just plain old beef. Those would be like tasty burgers. Yeah, you'd be eating tasty burgers. It's not going to be meatballs. There's no point in that. You need Pecorino Romano. I suggest Lucatella Pecorino Romano. The brand Lucatella. Alright? You can use Parmesan if you want to, Parmesan Reggiano, but it's a little less sharp. So, breadcrumbs, Italian breadcrumbs. You don't got to go for panko. Just go for regular Italian breadcrumbs. Garlic, oregano, eggs, 3 eggs. You're going to need 1 egg for every pound of meat you use. Okay? So if you double this recipe, you're going to need double the eggs. Alright? You need parsley. Okay? If you go for fresh, you know, you can kind of eyeball it. You're going to need dry. I'm going to eyeball it and tell you how much I use. And you're going to need basil. Okay? So, yeah, I think that's all you need. Oh, and black pepper. You need black pepper. So, yeah, I'll throw you down. So I've got my meatball mix here. First thing I'm going to do is measure in the breadcrumbs. I got to open up the breadcrumbs because I just bought a new thing, so give me a second. I am using Progresso brand Italian breadcrumbs. You know what, let me use a measuring cup so that I can kind of measure for you guys instead of just eyeballing it. What is this? 1/4 cup. Alright, let me try to measure it. See how nice I'm being? Usually I would just like, you know, say fuck you and just start throwing. Alright. Give me a second. Alright, so that was a whole cup of breadcrumbs to about 3 cups of meat. About 2.5 to 3 cups of meat. You're good. Alright? You're good. Let me just do a quick shake. Yeah, you're good. Alright, so we did 1 cup of Italian style breadcrumbs. Okay? Next. Oh, those are parsley flakes. Alright. Next, I've got this is a diced Vidalia onion. I know I cook with these constantly, and I only use Vidalia. Vidalia onions are just sweeter. They have like more flavor in them than Spanish onions, white onions, red onions. Red onions have like a really good flavor, but it's just different. So this is a diced Vidalia onion. This thing was huge. This was bigger than a softball. So I diced it, and whole thing's going in. Okay. Alright. Next. Parsley flakes. Now you can use fresh if you want to. I thought I had fresh parsley, but I just checked and it was like all wilty, so I'm not using it. So, you know what? Let me measure this too. Alright. It's like a 1/4 cup. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, so what is that? 1/4 plus 1/8 is 3/8 of a cup. So 3/8 of a cup of parsley flakes. Now I got rosemary. Not rosemary. I'm sorry, oregano. Okay, a little bit of oregano. I don't know how to measure this. I'm just going to kind of chuck some on. Alright, I just counted to 24 when I shook it. So I don't know if that helps you or not. I just shook it 24 times on it. Hang on, I just moved you. Okay. All right, black pepper. This is ridiculously easy. But I was looking at some recipes online on foodnetwork.com and, you know, just seeing like, you know, well, how do professionals make it? Man, most morons don't know what the hell they're doing. They got like all this bullshit up in there, and I'm like, oh man, that looks nasty. And that's what made me post, you know, do you guys want me to do it? It is just gross what they were posting. All right, next, I'm gonna do Pecorino Romano. Okay, I got a quarter cup. I know I'm rounding. Half a cup. 3/4 of a cup. Okay. So we got 3/4 of a cup Pecorino Romano. Garlic. Okay, this is the squishy garlic. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 cloves of garlic. Okay. And I've got basil. This is frozen basil. Okay, so no, this is pretty thawed out right now, so I'm gonna, this is actually clean. I just moved it. Give me a second. Let me crunch this out. This is just frozen basil. I put this little tip in another video, but what I like to do is I take basil from a supermarket when it's fresh, and I stick it in a Ziploc bag, and then I squish out all the air, and I freeze it. And the basil is just as delicious when it's coming out of a freezer, you know, assuming you're using it in something to cook with and not, you know, raw, as it is if it came out of, you know, fresh in a store. It really doesn't make a difference that it had been frozen. It's just as good. So, assuming you're cooking with it, you know, it's just as delicious. It doesn't make a difference. So I've always got fresh basil in my freezer. So I just did a really rough chop of the basil, and that was probably like 3/4 of a cup of basil-ish, of fresh basil. And I've got 3 eggs, and I'm just gonna whack the eggs in a, this is a paper bowl. Anytime you use eggs, or at least I do, I always crack the egg first because I don't want shells, and I can't tell if that's a shell or if that's a piece of basil. So I'm gonna check. That is a piece of basil, okay. So I'm gonna dump that in the bowl and move on. Okay. All right. All right, now at this point, you're gonna have the messy part. It's gonna be gross, but it comes time where you have to give a little massage. So, what I'm gonna do is start, okay, I'm gonna start doing a massage to my mushy mixeroo. And first I'm going to put the cheese back in the fridge because it needs to be refrigerated. And then I'm going to turn you back on again, and we're going to talk about frying these bad boys. Now some people don't, I'm going to kill my boyfriend because him and his fucking sriracha sauce. Anyway, so hold on. Ugh. Alright, I hope you can see me. Okay, so Some people just make the meatballs and throw them in the sauce, raw. That's so gross to me, I can't even express it. You're poaching your meatballs. Blech. You're ruining the sauce, in my opinion. You're ruining the meatballs. You're losing all the flavor. That's so nasty. Oh my God. Holy shit. So no, we're gonna fry them. So I'm gonna do a massage on the meatballs. All you wanna do is just mix it all until it's mushed evenly enough, and then you stop. Don't overmix it. If you overmix it to the point where you're just kind of mixing it for fun and playing with Play-Doh, you're gonna get it too firm. The meatballs are gonna come out too firm and they won't be tender enough. So just mix it until it's, you know, pretty evenly distributed. Everything's pretty evenly distributed, and then cut it out. And then we'll go to frying it, okay? I'll be back. So I've got the meatball mix mixed. Okay, so we're good. First thing I'm gonna do, I have a non-stick pan with pretty high sides on it. I'm gonna throw that on, let's do like medium high. Get the pan hot first before you put oil in it. Don't just throw oil in a cold pan and then bring it up. Let it get hot first, okay? Now, rolling meatballs. This sounds ridiculous, what I'm gonna say to you, but honest to God, it's true. I swear to Christ, it's true. There is an actual skill to rolling meatballs, all right? I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna try to slow down this footage to show you how to do it, but I'll explain what I'm doing while I do it, okay? So, I don't make, you know, tiny little meatballs. That's not a meatball. A real meatball is the size of a baseball. That's a meatball. So you grab a chunk of meat, all right? Whoop. All right, so you grab it, palm of your hand, cup it, all right? The thumb's gotta be there, all right? And you press with both hands and you just kind of roll, all right? And you gotta push with your thumb. And every time you re-roll it like that, let me see if it's on camera. It is, okay. So every time you roll it, you want to push with your thumb, push with your thumb, push with your thumb, push with your thumb, and kind of like massage it with your hands. I know I sound like a maniac, but I'm serious. You got to kind of like massage it with your hands and push it with your thumb like that, okay? And then you got like a meatball. Okay, and then you just kind of, you know, perfect it into a perfect little ball when it's, you know, done. When you're all set. And then just leave it. That's how you make a meatball. You gotta use your thumbs a lot. You can't just slap your hands together and blah, 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 blah. It's different. Alright? I'll do it again. Hold on a second. I gotta stick oil in the pan. I'm using canola oil. You can't use olive oil. Olive oil won't get high enough heat. Olive oil will burn. And we're going to be frying, so you got to use quite a bit. Okay? So we'll let that get up to temperature. Let's give it some time. So let me get another wad of meat in my hand. And I'll do it again. Again, I know I sound ridiculous, but I swear to God, there's really a skill to this. And you just kind of massage it until you think you're good. And then you just kind of perfect it with, you know, lightly with your hands into a perfect little ball. And you're good. And then you go again. Alright? So I'm just going to keep doing this. A couple onions fell out. I'm just going to keep doing this until my oil gets hot enough. And then we're going to throw the meatballs in. So some of these are ready to come out. You're going to see them, they are ridiculously brown. You know, even borderline what you might think is burnt, but they're so not. These are perfect. They're really dark. when they go in the sauce, they gradually get lighter and lighter because they're sitting in liquid, okay? So, you know, the darker you can get them, the better they're going to be. Now, you want them to be dark because when they sit in the sauce, all right, well, let me back it up for a second. When you stick meatballs in oil, I'm just flipping a couple. When you stick meatballs in oil, the point is to get a crust on them, okay? That's the point. And the crust is to keep the juice of the meatball, sticky there. The crust is to keep the meatball moist on the inside, okay? Because if you don't have a crust on the meatball, then all the juice on the inside of the meatball is going to come out in the sauce, and you're going to be stuck with really dry, nasty ass meatballs, okay? So you have to, it's the equivalent of searing meat, okay? You know how you have to sear meat when you cook meat on like a grill or something like that? Same thing, all right? Frying a meatball is the equivalent of searing a meatball. You're just gonna do it in oil. So you gotta do that to get a crust on it so that you can keep the insides moist when it sits in the sauce for as long as you can. So that's why we do it. So the darker you can get it, the faster you can get it dark, the better it's gonna be. You don't gotta worry about it being cooked in the middle because it's gonna sit in the sauce for a long time and it's gonna cook from the heat in the sauce. So you're okay. All right, I'm making the last meatball and then I'll count how many we made out of the 2.5, 3 pounds of meat, and maybe that'll help you gauge on how big I'm making them. What did I get? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I made 20 meatballs. All right? So, I hope that gives you an idea of how big I got them. All right. That guy's a little small, but no biggie. Let me just wash my hands. All right, I'm good. So, all right. Woo, hello. All right, so you just made Meat-a-Bawlz with me, and I'm just gonna take them out. I'm gonna let them get to room temp. Do not stick meatballs in the fridge while they are hot. You will ruin them. Make them room temp. They have to be room temp, okay? Nothing goes in the fridge when it's hot. It must be room temp. Once they get to room temp, they go in the fridge. Then tomorrow, they will go in the sauce when I make the sauce. So, we're good. I love you guys. Have a good night. Bye.